Somebody let me out, I'm about to face on the rage. I'm piecing the plays together while you sleep on the way. That I keep on it 24/7, I'll sleep in the grave. And you can bet that, cause if you're thinking for a minute that you're catching me slipping, you can forget that. It's probably obvious I came for the throne. Snatch the crown from your dome, now the king's come home. I'm taking back what's mine, I ain't giving in to what they tell me. Nah, I ain't listening. Can't deny I was made for this. Shove it back in the faces you say I'd miss. I'm taking back what's mine, I ain't giving in to what they tell me. Nah, I ain't listening. Can't deny I was made for this. Shove it back in the faces you say I'd miss. Pay attention, better listen close to the knowledge I've been dropping off the top. I'm on a mission, so put in the work and then you get the dough. And if you gotta sacrifice it all to get it, then you get it, go. Damn right, that's the mind state of the savage on path with a time frame. Aligned to define fate, drive through the times and the mind games. That's why I do it my way, and I say I'm taking back what's mine, I ain't giving in to what they tell me. Nah, I ain't listening. Can't deny I was made for this. Shove it back in the faces you say I'd miss. I'm taking back what's mine, I ain't giving in to what they tell me. Nah, I ain't listening. Can't deny I was made for this. Shove it back in the faces you say I'd miss.
If you smell what the rock is cooking. The rock says, the rock says. The rock says, the rock. The
and they talk to me. You got your rules and your religion, all designed to keep you safe. But when rules start getting broken, you start questioning your faith. I have a voice that is my savior, hates to love and loves to hate. I have a voice that has the knowledge and the power to your fate. I hear voices crying, I see heroes dying, I taste blood that's trying.
Hello and welcome to a slightly delayed The Wrestling Talk Show with Lisa Rock Jones and
John Randy Smith, and the first show we're going to give you is NXT UK Takeover Cardiff.
yes, here we are doing two shows with two separate companies, and we will start in WWE, the enemy to the other company,
We'll mention later on.
and specifically the NXT UK brand, which just over a week ago had a takeover show take place in Cardiff. NXT UK Takeover Cardiff took place from the Motorpoint Arena, which literally sits in the city centre, and I have attended several times.
Well, unfortunately, you weren't able to make it yourself because tickets went very quickly.
I could have done it when it was first announced, and I very nearly did.
But these were the matches.
The show opened up with someone we may see and have seen on the Cruiserweight division of 205 Live.
Yes.
Nomad Da taking on Travis Banks.
And the match was around 13 minutes.
Yes, after a relatively 13:55 minutes, a relatively solid opener, Nomad Da turned out victorious after hitting the Nova Roller on Travis Banks.
Mm-hmm.
Second, we had an appearance from a main roster star.
Yes, as Cesaro issued an open challenge to any NXT UK participant in the back, and the person who answered the call was Ilya Dragunov.
And in a relatively shorter match than this when the opening one, this match ended with an uppercut into a neutralizer for Cesaro to pick up the victory.
And now this next match was a triple threat tag team match for the NXT UK tag team titles.
Yes,
Jeff Gibson and James Drake put their titles on the line against Gallius in Mark Coffey and Wolfgang, and the hometown boys, Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster, as my colleague likes to call them,
the Welsh connection. Mark Andrews, of course, comes from Cardiff, whilst Flash Morgan Webster comes from just slightly outside there in Brimore, in the Gwent district of Wales, but they are both Welsh and they looked to make history by becoming the first Welsh superstars to become champions in WWE. Not that it took much, the only other Welsh star that WWE have really had was Mason Ryan back in the days of the Nexus.
yeah, I can remember. But overall, after what was a 20-minute tag team match,
Yes, a tag team chaos match, triple tag team matches tend to be chaotic enough, and so do triple threat matches. When you combine the two together, that's a recipe for disaster. Now, the ending of this match was a relatively interesting sequence when it looked like...
Yes, you definitely will be weak. I'm just having to check you a week.
I'll be in a minute.
Okay, fine.
When it looked like that the champions might just retain the titles, there was just a slight interception, because when Gibson was hit by Mark Andrews with a shooting star press, Mark Andrews would then literally drag Morgan Webster into the cover, getting the referee to hit the 3 count, and the Welsh Connection became the NXT UK Tag Team Champions.
Making history in the process.
Yes, and the roof literally blew off the Motorpoint Arena with the eruption of the crowd.
I can imagine so.
So the next one was a last man standing match.
And it was between two monsters in Joe Coffey of Gallus and Dave Mastiff.
Yes, and this ended after Joey Coffey managed to get Dave to stay down for the 10 count after what exactly?
Well, what happened was they both went through tables after falling off the top of the announce table. Then the referee was starting his 10 count, but as the referee reached 8, Joe Coffey saw Dave Mastiff trying to get up on a little kickboard, and Coffey kicked the board away and caused Dave Mastiff to fall as the referee counted 10.
Which just gave Coffey the victory.
Yes, it did.
Next, we moved on to the NXT UK Women's Championship, when former best friends
In Kaylee Ray in Tony Storm and Kaylee Ray, and Tony Storm would put NXT UK Women's Championship on the line against newcomer Kaylee Ray.
And Kaylee Ray had managed to really get into the head of Tony Storm. Triple H said in a conference just after Takeover had gone off for WWE Network that it looked like Tony Storm had lost this match before it even begun. And
yes,
that is really exactly what happened.
Literally,
Because after Kaylee Ray managed to perform a Hope Run goalie bomb and then a second goalie bomb, she would win the NXT UK Women's Championship.
at the first attempt of asking.
Now, the main event saw the first United Kingdom champion, Tyler Bate, attempt to win the championship back after a fair few attempts at it. He would take on Walter, who is almost a Brock Lesnar type character.
Almost, yes. But the match was around 42 minutes. Yes, don't adjust your sets. You heard us right. 42 minutes.
Yes, they may as well have made this an Iron Man match.
There was false finishes after false finishes after false finishes. An amazing resilience shown by both competitors.
Yes, I'll learn through some of it here. Walter performed a powerbomb onto the Lynn apron, then and a powerbomb on the Lynn post,
Ouch.
and Tyler Bate. Tyler Bate then performed a Tyler Driver 97 onto Walter for a close 2 count.
Mhm.
Bate also performed a corkscrew senton bomb onto Walter for yet another 2 count.
Finish.
Walter performed a diving splash onto Bate for a 2 count.
Mhm.
Walter performed a folding powerbomb for a 1 count, which is not something you often hear.
Yeah, a 1.
But in the end, it was a clothesline that allowed Walter to pick up a victory and retain the United Kingdom Championship. So, I would say that the first main pay-per-view or big show to take place in Cardiff was a huge success.
Most definitely.
Now we slightly switch gears and switch organizations and companies as we go from WWE to AEW All Out.
Yes, which came at you from the Hoffman Estates, Illinois, well, basically Chicago, Illinois, from the Sears Center Arena.
We had 10 matches to go through here. We start
2 of which took place on pre-show.
Yes, it's starting with the 21-woman Casino Battle Royal, which had the same rules as the men's Battle Royal, which took place at Double or Nothing.
Yes.
So we had 3 rounds of we had the card suits with clubs, diamonds, spades, and hearts, and of course the Joker.
We'll start with the club entrance.
Five wrestlers started, and then every 3 minutes, 5 more wrestlers would enter, except the 21st entrant would enter alone. So the clubs were
Sri Lanka Royal,
Leather Bates,
Babi Apache,
Priscilla Kelly,
and the first transgender woman in professional wrestling, Nyla Rose.
Then we had the Diamonds,
Penelope Ford,
Sazza McKenzie,
Sadie Gibbs,
Big Show,
and Dr. Britt Baker.
Then the Spades were
Tennille Dashwood, aka Emma, Imelesi,
Beat Chastity,
B. Priestley, Brandy Rhodes,
wife of AEW president, or whatever his official title is, Cody Rhodes. Awesome Khan, otherwise known as Karma.
and now the Hearts, Ali,
Nicole Savoy
Teal Piper,
from TNA, ODB,
and former 2-time WWE Women's Champion, Jazz,
and the Joker was.
Mercedes Martinez.
Now we go through the order of elimination.
Yes, order of elimination.
First few to go came from the clubs.
Yes, in Calandra Royal, Babi Apache, Priscilla Kelly, and Leather Bates.
Yes, then the fifth person to go All of those four were eliminated by Nyla Rose.
Next eliminations were 3 from the Diamonds.
Yes. Starting with Cesar McKenzie, Penelope
Big Folly.
and Penelope Ford.
2 from the Spades were then eliminated, as Emma and Ivor Nessie were eliminated by Awesome Kong.
Did you just say Emma? You do know which company this is,
Neil
don't you?
Dashwood, yeah, sorry, copyright. Copyright.
Yes, but where were we? 10th to be eliminated was
From the Hearts.
Nicole Savoy, followed relatively quickly by Tail Piper.
And then shockingly from the Spades, Awesome Kong was next to be eliminated.
But as tends to be the case with these big people, it takes multiple people to eliminate them.
Yes, it does.
13th and 14th to be eliminated were Jazz and ODB.
Next to be eliminated from the Hearts was Ali.
Followed, well, technically Brandy Rhodes was eliminated before Ali, but it was those two. Then 17th to be eliminated was Sadie Gibbs.
And then for the Spades, Priestley was the next one to go.
Which left Nyla Rhodes, Dr. Britt Baker, and Via Paisley.
But then this is where controversy reared its ugly head.
Yes, first to go out of the last 3 was
Priestley.
Yes, and then this is definitely where it gets interesting, because after she was eliminated, she pulled Britt Baker over the top rope, which means that by the rules of the match, the winner and now one half of the women's championship match is Nyla Rose.
Yes, she gets a future AEW Women's World Championship match.
The Women's Championship match will take place on October 2nd on the debut episode of AEW on TNT. Her opponent would be decided later in the evening.
Yes.
The other match to take place on the pre-show was a tag team match between Private Party
Isaiah Kennedy and Mark Queen,
and they defeated
the team of Angelico and Jack Evans.
The main show opened up with the 6-man tag team match when Soko Uncensored
In Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, and Scorpio Sky
defeated the Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy,
Luchasaurus, and Marco Stunt.
Then was the match which was changed due to injury.
Originally, this was going to be Kenny Omega versus John Moxley.
Yes. However, Moxley had to pull out due to injury, and instead this match is now scheduled for the next pay-per-view, which will take place in November by the name of Full Gear, but we'll get into that when the time comes.
So, the match was made.
The match was made as a match which was supposed to happen at Double or Nothing. It was Neville, Pac, taking on Kenny Omega. And Pac would win this match by a referee stoppage after Omega was passed out.
thanks to a submission from Pac.
Next, we had a triple threat of three-way hardcore match.
As Jimmy Havoc took on defeated Darby Allin and Joey Janela in what a hardcore match should be like nowadays.
Yes, because unlike WWE, AEW are not PG.
AEW are not afraid to get their hands dirty.
Next, we had the tag team match to decide which team would receive a first round bye in the tournament that would crown the AEW World Tag Team Champions.
As the Dark Order in Evil Uno and Stu Grayson defeated best friends Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta.
Then we moved on to the match that would decide who would face Nyla Rose in the match to become AEW Women's Champion on the 2nd of October.
And Raiho defeated Akira Shida, and she will go on to face Nyla Rose on October 2nd in a match for the AEW Women's World Championship.
Next, we had Cody Rhodes with MJF taking on Ty Dillinger. Sean Spears.
In what was essentially
with
a grudge match.
With Tully Pritchard. Now, 2-2, Cody Rhodes would win this match, but again with a bit of help from someone who is a bit of a WWE man. Four Horsemen member and friend to Ric Flair, Arn Anderson
would nail Sean Spears with a spine buster.
And Cody Rhodes would win this match. So then we move on to a question I have for people. Do you want to see some ladders?
The answer is yes, please. Because
the Lucha Brothers would face the Young Bucks in a ladder match for the AAA Tag Team Championships.
And the Lucha Brothers would defeat the Young Bucks in the ladder match. However, both teams were attacked by a debuting team by the name of LAX.
Former unknown in Impact Wrestling or TNA, and it looks like they will not be able to keep the name LAX in All Out. AW, same company, same thing. But then, now that that's done, we move on to the main event.
To crown the first ever AEW World Champion.
Adam Page would take on Y2J, if I'm allowed to say that, Chris Jericho.
In what would be a 26-minute matchup to crown the first ever champion.
And it wasn't the Codebreaker. It wasn't the Walls of Jericho. But it was this new finisher he has, which is it's like an elbow to the head, back elbow type maneuver.
Yeah.
That would give Chris Jericho the victory and make him the first person to be WWE Champion, WCW Champion, World Heavyweight Champion, and now AEW Champion. However, I will say this. Chris Jericho, if you're gonna be champion, it's better you don't lose or have the title stolen.
Yes, because literally after he won it, and after he was celebrating with it, he had his championship stolen.
Yes, it was reported the next day that the AEW World Championship had been stolen and that Chris Jericho was offering another reward for its return. And luckily for him, it was returned. So he has not gotten into too much trouble for it. So, before we leave, let's run through both results on Takeover Cardiff and AEW as we go back to Takeover Cardiff.
Yeah.
Nomad defeated Travis Banks.
Cesaro defeated Isla Dragunov.
Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster defeated Zach Gibson, James Drake, and Mark Coffey and Wolfgang in a triple threat tag team match to become the NXT United Kingdom Tag Team Champions.
Joe Coffey defeated Dave Mastiff in a last man standing match.
Kaylee Ray defeated Toni Storm to become the NXT UK Women's Champion.
And Walter retained the United Kingdom title against Tyler Bates.
In AEW All Out, Nyla Rose won a 21-woman casino battle royal by last eliminating Dr. Britt Baker to earn the Women's Championship match.
Private Party defeated Angelica and Jack Evans.
So Cullen censored Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky defeated Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy,
Luchasaurus and Marcus Stunt. Pac defeated Kenny Omega by referee stoppage.
Jimmy Havoc defeated Darby Allin and Joey Janela in a three-way hardcore match.
The Dark Order defeated best friends Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta to receive a first round bye in the AEW World Tag Team Championship tournament.
Rayo defeated Akira
Shida
to be the other opponent in the Women's Championship match.
Cody defeated Shawn Spears with a little bit of help from Arn Anderson.
The Lucha Brothers defeated the Young Bucks in the ladder match for the AEW World Tag Team Championships.
The Global Tag Team titles, yep. And Chris Jericho defeated Adam Page to become the first ever AEW World Champion.
So we apologise for this show being slightly delayed, but these things will happen to us every now and then.
Yes, but join us on Thursday for WWE's next pay-per-view, Clash of Champions.
Until then, he's been
Sean Randy Smith and he's been
Reese Willock Jones.
We'll see you on Thursday.